Electrical transformers, much like cars or other machines, are outfitted with different gauges and indicators to ensure they're operating correctly under normal conditions. In this video, we'll look at common liquid-filled transformer gauges, alarm contacts and remote monitoring, and other valves and fittings your transformer may have. First, let's look at the liquid level gauge. This gauge monitors the transformer's oil level. A low oil level could indicate a leak or problem that needs attention. Typical oil level gauges have an internal float, much like a fishing bobber that sits on top of the oil. The indicators on the gauge mark the position of the float as it floats on top of the oil. The face of the gauge will also have a 25 degrees C temperature reference marker, since the level of the oil is affected by the outside temperature. The liquid temperature gauge shows the temperature of the oil inside the transformer tank. The red pointer on the temperature gauge is the maximum level indicator, which shows the highest operating temperature that the gauge has registered. Since temperature readings vary, knowing the peak temperature helps you to understand if the unit has been operated above its insulation rating. Next, the pressure vacuum gauge indicates the internal transformer tank pressure. As the transformer oil warms and cools inside the tank, the gauge dial will fluctuate in positive and negative directions. Next, let's look at alarm contacts. Alarm contacts can be included with any liquid level, liquid temperature, or pressure vacuum gauge. They have contact points set at particular levels on the gauge faceplate. When the pointer of the gauge reaches the set contact point, the alarm contact opens or closes the circuit like a switch. If the transformer level, temperature, or pressure exceeds a certain threshold, the contacts will trigger an alarm that alerts the transformer's owner of a potential problem. These contacts allow companies to monitor their transformers from miles away, since the alerts can be sent to remote monitoring stations. Alarm contacts can also be used to activate fans on transformers. Much like the fan on your car's engine, transformers can use alarm contacts to automatically turn on fans during periods of peak loading and then turn them off as the transformer cools down. Last, let's look at some common valves and fittings on transformers. The drain and sample valve allows regular test samples to be taken of a transformer's oil while the transformer's in service, such as a DGA test. The valve can also be used to drain a portion or all of the fluid inside the transformer if it becomes necessary. All liquid-filled transformers with a sealed tank have a nitrogen blanket that fills the tank's headspace. For maintenance purposes, a nitrogen test port can be added to the unit. This port can be used to recharge the nitrogen blanket inside the transformer, as well as relieve the tank's pressure. A pressure relief device, or PRD, is a type of valve on a sealed transformer tank design that relieves excess tank pressure that might have built up due to an internal fault or overheating. To prevent the tank from deforming or rupturing, the PRD vents the excess pressure from the transformer tank before it reaches a critical level. Most liquid-filled transformers are outfitted with a pressure relief valve, or a PRV, which allows the headspace to vent excess pressure. This PRV is typically set at about 5 pounds, so at about 5 pounds of pressure, that pop-off valve will unseat slightly to let the excess pressure off, and then it'll reseal back to seal the tank. All these monitoring devices play a crucial role in identifying issues before they become critical and potentially cause costly downtime. At Maddox, we offer a variety of monitoring options to suit our customers' needs. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about transformers like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel.